Hi everyone, welcome to the introduction episode of the Landscape Architecture podcast. I'm Cherise, and today we have very special guests with us. So
Yay.
maybe I should introduce myself first. Okay, I'll introduce myself first. So I'm Cherise. I'm actually year 2 going year 3 NUS BLA student, and my role in Landscape Architecture Society, I'm actually the vice president. So anyone else want to go next? Anyone?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Dexter, year 2 entering year 3 BLA student as well, and I'm the president of LAS.
Hi, I'm Nicole, year 2 entering year 3 in BLA, and I'm the social media manager in LAS.
Hi, I am Wayne, and I am going year 1 to year 2, and I am the post-productionist / podcast creator.
Yay.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. So now you get to know our names and our positions. Maybe we need to learn more about landscape architecture. So maybe each of us can go through like one by one, then we can share about what got you into landscape architecture or what projects you actually like. What's your favorite projects? Yeah. So anyone has any examples?
Win.
Milo, please.
So what got me into landscape archi? Okay, I did LA since poly in SP. Actually, quite a funny story is the reason why I took on LA is because they back then, like the lecturers, they told me this thing, which was no exams. So that completely hooked me. Then I was like, all right, I'm interested already. Yeah. Then I mean, back then actually, I was actually more interested towards archi because like I enjoyed all the technical side of things, like, all those technical drawings. Like they look damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But then I remember back then, like landscape was just right next to archi, like the booth in the open house. Yeah. So I was like, I went to archi first. Then after the landscape, the lecturer came to like hook me in. I was like, then they're like, hey, it's quite similar, like same but different, less people, lesser competition. Then like, hey, okay, why not? Yeah. Okay, but then in a more serious note, why I decided to continue after my diploma was because to me I enjoy being able to make change. Yeah, I feel that in LA, like what I can do is that I can like you do a lot of like designing of spaces and not just spaces on its own, but I mean there's like a purpose behind it. I mean we do a lot of analysis, then we have like target audiences we want to reach, sort of like creating an impact, which is what I enjoy doing in LA. Yeah.
Nico?
I think I started like wanting to join landscape architecture because I really like geography in junior college. So I think I just really like the environment. And then in the university, there's also not many courses that deal with the environment other than like environmental engineering. And I felt like landscape architecture was much more meaningful, that like whatever you design actually gets made. So I think that's a lot more, like you feel more accomplished or like feel that you see like what you design come to life. Yeah.
For me, actually, it wasn't that, I don't know if it's simple or not, but actually, back in geography days, like when I was like in JC, then we were introduced to some real life examples that deals with flood. So I was quite amazed by how these architecture projects or landscape architecture projects can actually shape how flooding occurs in certain cities. And I like the idea that, we don't just have to build like walls to stop flooding, but we can have like architecture spaces or like public spaces for people to accommodate to flooding and for like humans to come in and play around. So I think I like the idea of that, and that's why I'm here. So what about you, Wayne?
So before I knew anything about landscape architecture, my first intention in NS was just to study.
Okay, that's what a lot of us also.
Yeah. So it was a very simple thought about just trying to trying to expand my design knowledge. So I was looking more towards architecture at first as well.
Okay.
Also applying landscape architecture as my second choice. And I got the interviews and all that, only to realize that I was being interviewed by our professor, our current professor, who is our BLA lecturer, and not knowing that it was BLA.
Oh, what?
So you thought it was lucky.
So I thought it was an architecture lecturer that was interviewing me, but unfortunately not. So
I got like baited in, sort.
yeah, so I think I really at the point of time I got baited into landscape architecture, but it's still a fun experience. I think definitely it gives me a change of pace in terms of my design creativity. back then I was doing visual effects and motion graphics, production and post-production, which is a lot like what this podcast entails. So didn't really felt fun after a while lah, because knowing that my work is only for like a 30-second screen time or something like that, it's just like there constantly being on repeat. Whereas in a landscape point of view where you get to see your designs in real life, I think that's where it really strikes me as a designer to want to pursue that this path.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Or do you have like a favorite landscape project that you want to share with us? Any examples?
Favorite landscape projects? I think
if you give any examples to the viewers, they
Yeah, I
can get
think-
to know what landscape is also.
I think landscape architecture, I think a few good examples would be Gardens by the Bay lah. I mean, that's the literal most
Yeah,
common
yeah,
example
yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
And then we have places like
Jewel.
Yeah, Jewel, definitely.
Yeah.
If Jewel is not just architecture, by the way. There's the inside part that
All the plants.
consists
and-
of the
Yeah.
biophilia and stuff. There's also any other examples?
Actually, in Singapore, like the Jurong Lake Gardens, right? Yeah.
yes,
And then
Jurong
like
Lake Gardens.
what's the pathway called? Is it the Rasa?
Russell Walk,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, the red color, very
Yeah,
iconic
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that one is also one.
Hmm.
Even Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park, but we're just listing like Singapore examples.
Yeah.
I think Singapore is a good like starting ground because we have so many projects. Maybe overseas, for me, what actually drew me into landscape architecture was the one in Korea, Cheonggyecheon, if I pronounced that correctly. So it's also the one that I was introduced to for flooding, and actually I like how there's actually celebrations of festivals that they have along that street. Is it street or like the stream?
Canal.
Yeah, the canal. And they actually, it's called like flood restoration or there's some technical term to it. And then it actually changes the surrounding landscape also. Like it was supposed to be like quite filthy and then it became like a public space now that's enjoyed by so many people. So do you have any other examples maybe outside of Singapore?
I don't really have outside of Singapore. I mean, for me, more of inside Singapore is like Rail Corridor. I think I use that for a lot of my projects. Yeah, but to me, I mean, this kind of like also speaks to me about what landscape is in some sense, because I mean, like you mentioned about the Korean one, it's like it's not just about putting plants. I think there's like this whole stereotype towards what landscape is about. Like a lot of people just think like, oh, well, that's like gardeners. Yeah, but I think it's more to that lah. I mean, like when you mentioned about how it turns into like a public space and things like that. I mean, it's sort of it really impacts people. It impacts culture. So it's a lot more than just putting a plant there. Yeah, it's about there's a lot of things that you can sort of curate out of it lah. Yeah, for me, Rail Corridor, I guess there's something closer to my heart because I used to live quite nearby. And I mean, like back then, was it like the KTM train? I don't know what's it called. I think it's KTM.
yes,
Yeah. So it was decommissioned. Yeah, basically it's a train
Yeah.
that linked from Woodlands, Tanjong Pagar, Woodlands, then it goes to
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it got decommissioned a couple of years back. Yeah, so for me as a kid, it's like I grew up there watching the trains go by every day. So it's
Yeah.
like there's sort of like a sentimental value, and then the fact that it's being preserved in some sense. I mean, there's still parts of it that I do question. Yeah, but at least the preservation of it and turning it into like a public space for people to use and sort of like experience that trail. I think that's quite that's sort of like a bit of a deep meaning for me behind it, which is what I appreciate with what landscape can actually do. Yeah. Then I mean, Nicole, you want to share your favorite projects?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but like from my time in the course, I think this is like one of the more interesting ones. So I don't know if you all remember like the Landschaft Park in Germany. So it used to be like an industrial area. Then like they used to like make like I don't know, like weapons. I don't know. I just know that it's an industrial park. So
Okay.
basically, it's very polluted. So what they did was actually repurpose the industrial park and like kind of like make it better. Like they cleans the soil using plants. So the area becomes more safe for people to use, and also like it's now a like gathering area for families, and like it's more open to the public. So it's like they keep the same structures like the plants thingy, like literal like production plant, but then they also have like plants. So it's like kind of cool to see
Two types of
industrial and
Yes.
plants like combined. Yeah. So I think that was quite cool. Yeah.
Actually, I think a lot of misconception out there. Like once like before I started my uni life, right, then I was scrolling through Reddit, and then like there's this landscape architecture page. So they were saying like there's one like post they were saying, oh, my grandma thinks that I'm just mowing the grass.
I know that's what a lot of people think also.
But that's not like what we do.
Yeah,
so we do
it's
more
more
than
than
that.
that. Yeah.
So I think from all these examples, we can see like what landscape projects are like. So give us like a sense of what we do also. Yeah. Okay, so maybe from the projects onwards, maybe we can share a bit about like. I know we don't really deal with plants a lot, but maybe let's just share a bit. What's your favorite plant? Yeah.
Bird nest fern.
Why bird nest one though?
I don't know, it's the most common plant I see all the time.
Oh, actually,
Okay lah,
like rain
but,
trees.
Yeah, but to be more serious, I think for me it would be the weeping tree.
oh.
The one that looks like a cloth that drips down
Okay,
a tree.
okay.
I don't know. I just find that pattern looks interesting. You know?
It's just an aesthetic value.
Yeah, and no, it's not just aesthetic. Apparently, it helps to clean rainwater as well. I mean, that's the whole point of plants, lah. But
Yeah.
But I think the weeping tree itself
a nerd over
has a
there.
little bit more of an effective purpose. Eh, how about you guys?
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite plant though.
Okay, maybe I share first, so you have some time to think. But I have a very practical sense. So I don't know what's the scientific name. I'm so sorry, but it's baby's breath. Because we can use it for our models.
Oh,
Yeah, like
They use it for trees.
Yeah,
Oh,
we use
yeah,
it for
yeah,
trees.
yeah.
So it's very practical. Like
Yeah.
I just have to buy one bunch, and if it's fresh, you can use it, and then you can still dry it, and then can use it as like trees for your model. And it looks nice and it elevates your model lah.
No bit.
So yeah, that's baby's breath. Yeah. Anyone?
So must it be like a tree or like a flower?
I think it doesn't
Anything,
matter.
flowers,
Whatever
anything.
vegetation you
Like
like.
grass
flowers are
also
plants,
can.
I mean, yeah. But
I like grass.
Or like-
Hey, no
Are you
shame in
sure?
that. No shame in that.
Anything?
I guess the Busida, you know the one with the tiered.
Ah,
Yeah, the one the tiered form. Yeah, I mean, I think there was some saying behind it, right? Like I think that's like some architect's favorite tree or something. Because you see all the architecture projects, all their renderings always have like a Busida.
it's very clean.
Yeah, it's so clean, it's so minimal. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. So yes.
I think for me it's fan palm, like any type of palm tree, because it's
Is
just
it? That's not palm, right?
it is.
There's
But it's-
outside has a palm.
It's a palm?
It's a
It
palm.
is. It is.
Okay, we have it as our backdrop.
Yes,
To be
yeah.
honest, outside is actually you can actually go
Garden.
outside.
The view's really nice,
It's
yeah.
actually a real place. So yeah.
Palm trees
Of course, it's a real place.
Because like some people might think that this is like a background, but
Okay,
it's
okay,
not.
okay.
It's for real.
It's not a green screen.
Yeah, it's not a green screen. Okay. Okay, going back to Nicole's favorite plant.
Fan palm or any palm tree, because it's like
Palm. It's not
it's
palm
just
tree.
like they grow
palm.
very tall, and then like the leaves. I don't know. It just looks very open and wide, compared to a lot of trees are very dense. So this one is like you can see the individual.
can plug and use as fan.
It also that
Sure.
I don't know. It just looks nice and aesthetic.
Okay.
I think
feel.
the small ones still can use as fan.
Yeah,
like the
maybe,
big
yeah.
ones, like those trees but they look very nice and there's like I
Yeah.
think different colors. I don't know if there's a palm tree, but there's like one near my house, right? And I told like the plant mod professor. So it looks silverish. So I thought,
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Then I told him like he told me like it's silverish because of some like pigmentation. Then I told him, oh, I thought because it was sick. So it has like another color. Yeah, then I don't know, he started
Okay,
laughing.
I need to clarify because I know back then in SP, like we have this thing going around saying that it's not palm tree, it's just palms. Because palms are not trees.
Oh, they're not trees.
Oh,
So
it's
They're
just
not?
it's just palms. I don't call them palm trees, let's call it palms. Yeah, before we get a lot of hate in
So
the.
are they not like what are they?
Yeah, they're palms.
So just-
don't ask me
But
the
they're not
scientific
trees.
thing. Yeah, I forgot already. Lah.
Okay.
But they're just palms. We can just call them palms, not palm trees.
Oh no, okay,
Yeah,
okay. But
so-
something that we learned today.
Yeah, because
Okay,
if
and
not
I
the
think
viewers
the
are gonna
viewers
start
also-
sending hate comments. And,
Oh no. Or maybe you can like, if anyone's watching this, you can actually leave your favorite plant down in the comments section below. I think that would be quite fun. So we know like have more examples of what kind of plants attract people.
Okay, so let's move on to the more serious topics right now. All right. So Dex and Nico, can you just take some time to tell us a little bit more about our society? So who are we and why did we form RAS?
Okay,
Mr. President, take it away.
Thank you. So LAS, okay, basically, just some context is that BLA we're a very new course. I mean, I think our first batch was only in like AY 1920. Yeah, so we are very new, very small community. I mean, like for like the year 2 batch, there's only like 28 of us. Yeah, so this small and new community. So basically, I feel that we're a group of people who want to do something. Yeah, for this tight community, we want to sort of create like an identity and give us like a say and like a position, I guess, within the school itself, like to leave our mark and yeah, foster this very intimate community. Yeah.
So, but why do we form LES?
Yeah, I think like the main thing that we do here is because it's like, yeah, like I mentioned, like we're very small. So this, in a sense, it kind of benefits us in a way where we're very tight. Yeah, so with this intimate sort of relations between everybody, I feel that it'll be fun, yeah, for us to create our identity, like a sense of community, to make studio life not just like mindlessly
deadlines.
producing things and rushing for deadlines, but I mean,
Sleeping in studios.
that also, that can be quite fun also. But I mean, yeah, I mean, LAS, like we come here as like this group of people who want to benefit this community, yeah, to sort of just bring more life into, yeah, within the BLA undergrads itself, and yeah, hopefully can help with the outreach, yeah, outreach efforts as well. Yeah, to let more people know about landscape itself. Like, because I mean, within the industry, we're very niche. It's something that's been upcoming. Not a lot of people know about landscape also. Yeah, so I guess one of the roles as LAS also is to sort of break all these stereotypes behind what landscape is and just give people some insights into what we do. And yeah, hopefully more people will join us.
Yeah, and another thing LAS is also looking to do or is doing already is what we are currently seeing right now as podcast lah. So maybe Cherise can share a little bit more about what's the whole idea of this podcast. You know, why are we doing this?
Actually, maybe I can share like why I chose a podcast first. So I was like spending a lot of time telling my non-landscape archi friends about like certain projects. Then I like rave about all these projects, and I talk about what our professors do. And because some of our professors are actually like practicing architects, landscape architects, so they have like real life examples. So even like Jewel, like Bishan Ang-Mo-Kio Park, some of them have like are part of the team who does it. So I'm like raving to them, and then I was like, since if I can rave to them, maybe I can rave it to the public lah, like share more about these kind of things to the public. And they are also interested, so maybe I assume that the public might be also interested.
You're like, you start geeking, but then they don't really understand what you're talking about also.
Yeah, but I think it's also good to like, since we're also a very new course, and not a lot of people know about us, so through this program and this podcast, we hope that we can have more guests over, invite some of our lecturers or practicing architects overseas or even within Singapore to come and share their experience. And because they are like so far ahead in this industry, we can also learn from them.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
get some wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's also like my reason for having a podcast.
And also having a podcast will really help our freshies who are coming in. You know, our transition from, especially for guys, because our transition from NS to school is like really forced or really sudden, right?
Yeah, it's quite
and
adjusting.
for maybe people who don't know anything about landscape architecture in general, I feel like the freshies can really tap into this podcast. Maybe hear about some of our advisors, hear from the professors that you all will be studying and learning from as well. And I think this will really help their journey transitioning into BLA. Yeah, and I feel that this is a very good initiative, and hopefully you all will find this helpful because we want to keep doing it. It's very fun. Yep. Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
We are looking to bring you guys for farming.
Farming?
Okay,
Should
so
we
one
do
thing, I feel like one thing quite interesting within like our batch is that there's a lot of people with very interesting talents.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like their own business going or like some their
side
part-time
hustles.
jobs or interns. Yeah, so I mean these are unique features within the community itself that I mean that LAS comes in to tap on it also lah. Like give them sort of like they can share about their life, share about what they do also, and yeah, something very interesting outside of what we do on a normal basis. I feel, yeah. So yes, look out for future events. Not only, yeah, I mean, we do plan to to ask some of our batchmates to like bring us on like all these like to bring into like sort of like their life, bring us into their life, like what they do outside of studio. Then also more podcasts. We're gonna invite more guests. Then yeah, look out
So
for
to
more.
sum up, we have like a lot of things coming, fun things especially. So look out for all
Social
these-
media, follow our social medias.
Yeah, follow us.
Yes.
Okay.
TikTok and Instagram.
Okay, so maybe let's have like a fun session now. So I will actually share with you some misconceptions people have of landscape architecture and landscape architects. So the first one is landscape architects are gardeners. Or like maybe more specifically, selector and arranger of plants. So what do you think about it?
Yes.
Actually, isn't it correct?
It's true to a certain extent. Lah.
We,
True
we
to a
do
certain
select
extent.
and
Yeah,
arrange
I mean,
them.
we do
like,
planting plants
But we
and-
arrange in a very aesthetic.
Actually, there's this landscape architect or like the guy, the Pete Odolph. I don't know if you guys
Can't
know.
I only know of Pete Davidson.
Oh. No.
Some actor.
Very different.
Yeah.
So actually, he does like plants. So you can actually see like different colors. So he does like certain shapes he will draw out. And then they actually did like an aerial view down. So his drawing matched exactly what he planted, like the shape and the color wise. So it's very nice. If you can search about him, you can look at his work.
This is part of the aesthetic value towards planting. Like, I mean, it's not just
Yeah.
putting your palm or your tree there, but there's a lot of thought behind. It's a form of design now, see.
So we are not exactly gardeners, but we do select and arrange our plants.
Yeah.
And
But there's a
plants-
lot of thought in the
colours.
arrangement.
Yeah. Okay, so the second misconception we have is landscape architects design parks and gardens only.
Ooh,
Wrong.
Nah.
not
That's-
really.
No.
Not really.
We do. I think we do design
do
parks
lah,
and
yeah,
gardens
yeah.
mostly, or
Yeah.
like in Singapore. But like
Much
I
less.
always share with like people that we also have like cemeteries. We design cemeteries also. And I don't know why. Maybe the concept of cemetery like wow people away. And I like to share that. Then people are like, oh my god, really? Yeah, that kind. So I think that cemetery is quite fun.
We design cemeteries.
I didn't know this.
Oh,
so, but
even Wayne don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so new to this.
There's one that I saw, the overseas one is damn cool. They use the body, right? Then on top of that, they plant a tree. Because you know the body acts as like fertilizer.
Oh.
Wait, as in
So it's like
like-
that, and then after that, the fallen tree, okay, after the tree dies also, right? Then they use the logs as like benches. So it's like a whole cycle within the
that's very
cemetery.
interesting.
It's
Wait,
super
the
cool.
body
That's
as
very
in like
interesting.
after it's cremated or
Like the
So it's cremated
really
first.
the-
really the
Then they
body
plant the
body.
tree on top.
Yeah, because it's like
Oh.
overseas one. I saw in like the Sila student work, like those submissions.
That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
that's super interesting. But I don't know if it's actually done.
Okay, but that is an interesting example. So
But of
cemeteries
course,
are good.
there's a few ethical things behind it, lah.
Yeah,
As in, like, I don't know whether people would be happy to plant a
Yeah.
tree above like your loved ones.
Actually,
Why not? Then you feel like the.
Yeah, I mean, it does
like,
it does
lives
questions
on.
why not, lah. But then
Singapore
there
has
are
one. I forgot what's it called. Like it's at Choa Chu Kang. So after your body gets cremated, then you can scatter your ashes.
Oh yeah, that one is by
Yeah.
NParks, right?
Yeah, by NParks. I think it's a good initiative though. Like,
safe land.
I
think
mean,
a lot of
other
people got
than
hit me for
that,
saying
no,
that.
it's also not just about that lah. Like, I mean, you can save land, but you can also scatter into the sea or something, a sea burial. But it's also like the idea of continuity.
Yeah,
So
as a fertilizer.
Yeah, it's a fertilizer for the plants to grow up.
Mm.
I mean, other than cemeteries, we have like other.
There's a lot of things,
projects.
lah.
Yeah,
There's
there's
like-
a lot of other
we can also
things.
design private balconies or gardens, like those rich people has that.
Those rich
Yeah,
people.
those rich people
Okay.
that have the landed property, they have the ability to go and do such designs. We can also be commissioned to do such stuff lah. So it's not really just about gardens and
Public
it's what-
spaces.
Yeah,
It's
public
private
Basically,
spaces,
where
yeah.
people where you can set foot on, or where anything spaces are basically just spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
how I
not
would-
restricted to just.
Like how I would like describe landscape architecture to people, right, is that architecture is like the box. So we think out of the box. Then
interesting way to put it.
we design around the box, on the box, in the
Yeah.
box. Yeah. So not just that square frame. Yeah, but just anything else.
No hate though, no hate.
No hate, no hate. We are very good friends in I mean, we have friends in
Yeah.
architecture as well. Okay, the next misconception we have is landscape architects can't draw out details. They only look at bigger pictures.
That's not true.
I can't draw.
We have a lot of technical drawings too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think it's because like there's always this like link that we always zoom out. I think
We see things in the
out is
macro.
good.
That's
Yeah.
not wrong also lah. I mean, we do cover like urban planning, master plans, drawing out master plans and things like that. But yet at the same time, we also go into very micro details, like sort of like your detailing of like your benches, your water fountain. All these are things that we also touch on. So we are like the macro and the micro.
Yeah. There's a lot of things where users don't really see through the designer's eye. Like for example, if the designer were to design in such a way, then would users have the same perception or not?
Yeah.
Or maybe they might think differently.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting thing about landscape architecture is that not everything is set in stone lah.
Yeah.
You know, everything changes. How the user perceive your design changes as well, and everybody might look at it differently.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Actually, talking about that, I don't know, it just reminds me of like I told Dexter about it, like the Colin guy.
The one that does the models.
Yeah, like he does very nice like furniture, but he's also a landscape architect. Then because he's also a sculptor, so he actually like sculpts different shapes of like, I don't know, stuff, and then it becomes like a furniture, and then it evokes kind of like peace or like zen feeling for the users.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's
he
also
represents like his work through like the sculptures he made, and that's his selling point.
And it's also like a landscape architecture
Yeah.
project.
So there's a lot of ways to approach this. Yeah.
So even like the fine details of maybe like the furniture, we need to care about that. But we also have like the ability to zoom out and maybe see things like how big this park can connect with other parks or urban design. We also do that also. Yeah. So it's not just we can draw out details and we can also look at the bigger picture.
Yep.
Okay. So the fourth one I have is landscape architecture is only an accessory, not a necessity. I think what they meant was like we just
Add on, is it?
This
Add
is
on
very
more
controversial.
greenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a bit sad.
Disagree.
I mean, we hope that changes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
hope that
we
changes.
hope that
I mean, a lot of us do feel that way, lah. Yeah, and think that that's something that I think the industry is trying to push for also. Yeah, like when the landscape architects can sit together at the starting. I think in like our lectures last sem, they did talk about it. But what happens when the landscape architects sit on the same starting discussions with like everybody? Like you can really see like a lot of difference. Because I mean, like in a lot of architecture projects, like okay, not to shit on it or what, but just sharing my my opinions. Yeah. So sometimes it feels like the building is there, and then like the plants just add on to it. Like it's just there, so you don't really feel that. But then like once like the landscape architect comes in together with the architect or like whoever else is involved like at the starting stage, I can really feel like this synergy and everything just flows very, very well together. It's just a very different experience.
I think that's like what I feel about current buildings also. Like we just have like a car park, then the top, then we just
It's like throw one
Cyrus
plant
greenery.
there.
What's the hotel that turned from red to green?
Oasis.
In Singapore?
Yeah.
That one. Basically that,
is
right?
Is that good or bad?
I have.
Everybody has their own
I am-
opinions on it.
I am so like on a grey area about that. Yeah. Like
Oh.
you design a building, but then you cover plants over it, and then you cannot see the design of the building, but then the plants help with the environment per se. So I don't know, you know, that kind of
Is
thing.
it like are the plants drying off though?
Yeah,
I think it's an
exactly.
ish
Yeah.
thing.
And maintenance also comes into play, whether
Oh,
or not
yeah,
it
yeah.
will be,
There's
it
a
will
lot
still
to
look
think
like
about
that
lah.
beautiful after like 10 or 20 years. I
Any
don't know.
successful
Yeah.
examples do we have?
Successful examples. I think
Did I ask like too difficult question
Yeah.
that we can't like
Yeah,
pluck
too
some
we
difficult.
shall
examples?
leave this for another
Time.
Oh yeah,
Talk about
then
this
we
next
get
time.
some
Too
lecturers.
early to tell. Too early to
Yeah,
tell.
too early to tell.
Okay, but definitely like we are more than just skyrise greenery or like just another rooftop garden.
Yeah.
So we hope that this changes.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, the last misconception we have is landscape architects contribute towards sustainability solely by adding more green to a project. I think similar to the last point.
We deal with blue as well.
Okay, so we got blue, we got green, anything?
It's more than that. Lah.
Yeah,
more
it's
than that.
definitely
it's
more
more
than
than
that.
More than that.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think
just about
even
adding
like,
greens.
I think Nicole mentioned like the landscape project. So it's also sustainability in a way we are like trying to reuse that space. Yeah. Anything else?
I think like okay, the whole topic behind sustainability itself is a very yeah, it's a very broad term. There's a lot to it. Yeah, so I mean, just to put in a very general sense, like when you say that landscape architects come in to just put green in terms of sustainability efforts, I think it's just, that's too surface really lah. Yeah, there's a lot more behind just putting the greens. Because there's always, and I feel that in our design there should be this, like there must be a reason behind why we do this. And of course, as much as we can also to be able to prove that yes, by doing this, by shifting this thing here, by putting this plant here, like there's sort of like a reason behind it lah. Yeah, more than just sustainability in general, but I mean, it does impact a lot of things, and in some sense, yeah, like it goes a long way lah. Yeah, just to put in a very generic way lah. Yeah.
I think sustainable also can talk about like ecosystems. Like
Sure.
I think our designs, like especially the macro ones that were mentioned, is like we do also think of how our design will affect the ecosystem in the whole of Singapore, like how the way that we plant affects how fragmented the habitat is for animals and how it affects their movement. So it's like also kind of part of sustainability. So it's not just plants. Yeah.
Or maybe the viewers can also let us know what they think previously before these videos.
Yeah. That'd be good.
I only like chose the few that were quite controversial. That
Yeah, but I think these are quite the most of the general.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
common.
very common questions that
commonly
we
answered
get
questions,
asked also. Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching through this episode, and I'm sure maybe you have get some like a glimpse of what landscape architecture is about through our sharing as students. But we have more upcoming episodes where we actually invite professors or lecturers to share with you more about landscape architecture. So if you like this video, click that subscribe button, or I don't know what are we gonna do.
Ring the notification bell.
Oh yeah. You know people always say like
Smash the like button.
Smash the
Ring
like
the
button.
notification bell. Leave a comment down below if you want to
Yeah.
see more.
Oh yeah, but we definitely do have more videos to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.